Hello and welcome back. Today I want to sort of talk about one of the most important things for me, which is freedom. This is what I'm doing, and this is probably what you want to do in your life. But in order to talk about freedom, we want to talk about something just before that, and that's consistency. And I feel like we need to talk about why consistency creates freedom, even if it feels very difficult. So, one of the key sort of focus points, or like I would say ambition in my life, has been to be able to create a life of freedom. And initially, it was on the spectrum of freedom of thinking, freedom of action, freedom of, work in terms of what I wanted to do. And I just wanted to break free from the shackles of the world and the systems where, why would an architect only do architecture, for example? Why couldn't I become part of other industries? And this, I was able to sort of break through all of those paradigms that I was part of. And for the last 20 years, I've been exploring exciting industries as a designer, and sort of cross-pollinating everything that I've been learning in one or of these disciplines. And if you don't know who I am, my name is Ali Khan. I've just started this new YouTube channel that no one is watching yet, which is great. And the idea is that I believe that um, I want to sort of go deep down into myself and be more authentic and draw out the right crowd, because I already have a YouTube channel that has about 6,000 subscribers. We talk about design on that platform. However, I feel I want to connect to people like me who are going out on this journey at whatever stage they're in their life, to sort of do whatever it takes to become authentic and bring themselves out on this platform and connect with like-minded people. The first point I want to touch upon is this idea that freedom is earned through reps. And I mean repetition. And when you go to a gym, you just keep doing the same thing again and again. You work the muscle, you break the muscle, you increase the load, but the repetitions keep going. It's the same concept with consistency. Consistency is all about putting in the reps, and these reps sort of compound slowly, and if of course the direction is set in the towards the true north of your authentic self, then it can help us along the journey for this ultimate goal of being free from a lot of different things that we feel like we were sort of shackled in. In my journey of freedom, and let's talk about freedom of work, let's say, this idea that I wanted to do something else except architecture, right? So one thing that I noticed was that freedom sort of pops its head when you least expect it, right? And this happens when you're consistently working towards your goal and putting in the reps, and suddenly one fine day you somehow make all this connection where all the skills that you sort of learn, and the things that you're sort of involving yourself in, and the people that you're surrounding yourself with, they sort of compound, and sort of things open up, and before you know it, you're just sort of living it. Another really counterintuitive idea is that discipline builds the bridge to freedom. And of course, people who have put in the hard work consistently, day in and day out, know that discipline is about creating a structure, and then holding yourself accountable to make sure that you go through with what you sort of commit to. And this idea that discipline is something not only applicable when it comes to external factors, but it comes mostly from internal factors. When the goals are clear, and when the goal is to create freedom, and that freedom happens through understanding what your true authentic self is, and then connecting with the right people, and doing the things that you actually love doing. And this idea that freedom is created through the work that you love doing. In the end, it could be doing absolutely nothing if that is what you feel that your authentic self is. However, I truly doubt that any one of you out there would not want to do anything, because if you're listening to this discussion and if you're sort of watching this channel, then that means that you want to do something. There's a burning desire in your heart, and it's just this idea that maybe you haven't taken that step of finding who you are, or maybe just leaning into your authentic self. And this is what we sort of keep talking about on this channel. So for a lot of people, structure feels like a cage. It's something that sort of suffocates them, because uh, um, I've had friends who said, like, I want to be free of structure. So I think a little differently. So I feel like structure allows you to free up your mind from things that take up more energy from doing the things that actually require you to get closer to freedom, or let's say authenticity, or getting the work done. So I'm talking about basically automating some of the things through structure. And structure, once sort of designed, can then be implemented. And this whole idea is discipline. So once you understand that in the morning you have to wake up at certain time, eat something, then maybe go for a run, or don't do anything, take the dogs out for a walk. Or maybe if you have a baby, you change the baby wakes up, feed the baby, and so create a structure, and then be disciplined about it. And the most important thing about consistency is that consistency builds your identity. And this is one of those counterintuitive things where you feel that you are trying to build your identity, and you're trying to look for something, you're trying to go in and really explore yourself, and do all the exercises that are required. You break free from the shackles. However, if you're just consistent with some of the things that you're doing, automatically you tend to go closer to your identity, because putting in the reps, being disciplined about it, is actually pushing you towards your true identity, and that gets sort of explode faster through consistency. To give you an example, this idea that I want to have a YouTube channel, for example, and I want to be authentic, and I want to be true to myself, and I want to reach out to other people, you can think about this for a long time. Or you can be consistent, and before you know it, you already have a YouTube channel. You already are talking about being yourself. You already are slowly connecting with the people. Yeah, you might not have all the audience that you want, but that's part of the process. That is how you build this machine up. And of course, there can be a method behind this madness, but the main point is that consistency helps you eventually, after a little bit of time, discover your true identity. And before you know it, you're already it. You don't have to become a creator. You're already creating, and you're just in the present, and things are happening for you. And this is what's so fascinating about consistency. And I always like to say that focusing on small things lead to momentum that leads to freedom. And it's this idea that you break down a big problem into smaller chunks, and if you've already decided that you need to do this, then sort of break it down into actionable steps where you can actually take that step and do it consistently and be disciplined about it, and create, or try to create that momentum, which we're doing right now. So this is video number 5 in the last 6-7 days, and what we're trying to achieve here is this experiment of launching a new YouTube channel in full disclosure in front of everyone to see how this works. So I just invite you to focus on small wins, and create that big master plan that you have, maybe, but then break it down into something that you feel that you can achieve, or put it into those smaller steps. So I want to create this, let's say, a huge community of like-minded people who are all going through the same journey through this channel. However, the first step is to consistently show up, and this is exactly what I'm doing, even if no one is watching. But thank you for watching. If you are one of them, then you've done me a huge favor, and please follow my journey and become part of it. And I'd love to know what you're working on.